Greetings, good afternoon, welcome everyone, welcome to DevChatter. For those of you that are new here, I want to invite you to chat with us here today and enjoy coding and discussions about pretty much anything programming technology related that you'd like to talk about. As I said, if you are new, my name is Brendan, and I am the host of the DevChatter live stream. We've been doing this for over 2 years now on the channel, and over that time we have built a lot of interesting stuff. Today I think we are going to probably have two topics of discussion that are going to mainly come up today. The one is going to be related to the work we're planning on doing, which to bring it to your attention, we're going to be working on our FF7 Twitch interaction program. Oh man, that's still going wrong. There is... Okay, well, that bot's getting killed. Sorry, bot. Yep, I need to fix our other bot. So something happened at some point. The code hasn't changed at all on the bot, but something must have changed on Twitch's end with how the bot connects. So we'll have to take a look at that. If you notice in the chat there, our main chat bot in the stream said hello multiple times, which it was doing last stream as well. So sounds like we're going to have a stream coming up soon where we debug what is going wrong with that bot and figure out why we're getting that response from Twitch that seems to have the bot join the channel every time it wants to send a message. So it's as if it's reconnecting to Twitch for each message. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll have to look at that. Okay, other things going on. So we're going to be working on our FF7 application. It gives a Twitch streamer the ability to provide their chat with control of a game of Final Fantasy VII that they're playing on stream. Final Fantasy VII is a game that is about 22 years old at this point, so not a recent game. It has gotten a fair bit of additional attention recently because the company that created it 22 years ago decided to do a remake of that game. The remake came out a little over a month ago, and maybe for some reason I think it was originally supposed to come out in March, and it came out either late March or early April of this year. So the remake of this game has a very different feel from this one. I have not played it yet, but I know that they have changed from what used to be a very turn-based classic JRPG game to more of an action RPG game, so it does still have some of those same elements. It should be very story driven, as that's what these games are. So if you are someone that really does like story driven games and strategy and those sorts of things, basically like if you like trying to figure out how to play a game effectively and do like storylines that are interesting, then I would actually recommend this game. And one of the best selling points of it is the fact that 22 years later, the game got a very hyped remake, which does kind of hint at the fact that this probably was a pretty good game to begin with. That being said, not everybody thinks that it is the best game out there. Some people say that it is overhyped, but I think it's a good game. It's not like the greatest thing ever type game, but it is a good one. So if you are interested, you could check this out. It is on Steam, and that is the version that we play here. Additionally, that means you could run FF7 with it as well, which is the program that we are running. So this is FF7. It's the just little application that we are building. So you can see the 4 colors currently selected are these ones displayed right here. And if I click a button to change the new color palette, you'll see this is the new color palette, which has changed in that as well. The color, so that game actually remains static until you do something. So you'll notice the timer isn't even going. So if you look down at the bottom of the screen there, the timer is not moving, but if I click in there, you'll see the timer starts going again. So the game is actually paused while you do not have the window focused. Stoolpenner, that's the bot that I stopped at the beginning of the stream because it was for some reason connecting to the channel repeatedly. So I think there's something wrong with the TwitchLib connection. So we're going to need to debug our other bot at some point soon. So I think that probably gives a pretty good introduction of what we're doing here today. Obviously, the changes, the control that we give to chat is not limited just to control of menu colors. Chat also has control of the character names. So, for example, if we wanted to go with... did I not... it's connected, right? Wow! There we go. I must have had some really, really expensive name typed in there already. So we have control of the names. So Stoolpenner was talking in chat, so I put in Stoolpenner as the names, which is actually really, really funny to split it and put it in there that way. But that's the type of control that we have. We have control over the character names. We have control over the characters. We have control over the status effects of the characters while they're playing the game. We have control of the items, the equipment, the materia, which is how the magic system works in this game. We can control what magic the player has access to. In fact, if you look at their gil amount there, that's 6293. For example, I could say drop gil 62. I don't have that feature turned on. Hang on. I clicked that button, but I forgot I didn't have that on. So let's go into Wealth, and we're going to go to Gil and enable giving and taking away Gil. So drop Gil 62, and goodbye, money. So chat has the ability to just say, no, you don't have money. You can't buy anything. Silly streamer. We won't let you buy things. But at the same time, someone else could say, find Gil and give us tons of money. So chat has the ability to both help and hurt the player as they play the game by either giving positive and negative status effects, good or bad equipment, and all of these kinds of things are all in the control of the player and community both. Because the player can still make their own money, find their own items. Chat can take them away, though. Okay, so that is our intro, what we are building. So what is the feature that we're building right now? Also, someone probably noticed that my stream overlay also has that same menu color that we are using in there, in the game. So if you look, that is also going the same way. So I have that going, but if you look, it matches the game the whole time. So we also have that. So the streamer also is able to, match with the game while they play this. And we also integrated a status overlay that Mr. Shoji built that does the same, that pulls out a lot of the information and displays it on the screen while you're playing. So very useful. Okay, so let's dive in. I wanted to build a new feature for this. So we're going to build a new feature into the bot today. I skeletoned some code that may totally disappear, but I like to just skeleton some things in to kind of get my brain thinking about, like, what's the concept I want to build, and then we can think about it further. So for this starting point, I set up this concept called a mood. Now, let me explain what a mood is in my mind of how this feature is going to work. So right now, most of our features for interacting with the game are: the game is running, someone in chat sends a message, and that causes something to happen in the game. And when they do that, all that does is change some values in the game directly one time to make the effect happen. when we do them, some of them have to look at the current state as well before they make the change. So, for example, when I change the menu color, we first look at the existing menu color, and then we slowly modify it to get to the new one. So if you watch, we are making gradual changes to the menu color until we get to the value that we want. Now, there is nothing built into the game that has this concept of slowly transitioning from one color to another. That's not how the game didn't build that. And in addition, we are trying not to modify the game. So we do not want to modify the files of the game itself. We don't want to change it. Because we want someone, when they turn off Interactive 7, to just be in a plain vanilla copy of Final Fantasy 7 that we have not altered at all. The only effect that they would notice is if they saved their game, they would have whatever changes had been made by the viewers, the chatters. Welcome, Pablo. Thanks for that follow. The idea then being that when you save the game, it really could just be like either that you use some cheats to get items or something like that, or your characters, because really the only significant changes that you could make that were long lasting are what items and equipment and materia you have, as well as how much gil you have and other things like that. And other than that, the game's not really changed, because you can change the menu color in the game. Here's how it works. So they actually put this in the game, and they gave everybody this kind of control. Now, as you can see, this is a terrible interface. It's one of the reasons why we give chat the control, because chat can do it so much better, and that's the way they get to change colors, which is just, yeah. I guess for a 90s game, more power to you for getting that in there. We sort of leverage this saying, well, if they can take any color and it instantly updates, all we did was say, okay, what's the current color? All right, we're going to make this slow shift. And so we just apply, we just figure out what are the changes, like basically what are the steps to get from one color palette to another. And we just sort of approximate it and then just play all those changes out. And that's how we do these color transitions, which works out nicely. But what that means is that we need to be reading a lot of the memory in the game and not just writing to it in order to make these changes happen. So, moods are a bit different. So if we're going to build moods, I want these to be effects that are persistent for a time period. So let's say that a mood lasts for, 10 minutes. Let's say for the next 10 minutes, this is the mood of the game. And essentially, the set of moods that we're thinking about, I have, like, for a starting point, are written right here because I sort of just created this basic abstract class, which might become an interface. I haven't decided yet. For a normal mood, a peaceful mood, and a danger mood. The normal mood, which is the first one, is designed to be essentially no effect. So normal mood means vanilla gameplay, nothing changed. As the developers intended, that's normal mood. The peaceful mood, the thought is, in peaceful mood, you'll get fewer combats, so fewer random battles. So this is a game that has random battles as the characters walk around. The game will trigger battles. I say random in that speedrunners of this game, in fact, they know how the random number generation works, sort of, in that from a starting point, they know when these encounters are supposed to happen, and so it's based on the number of steps that you're taking in certain places. So speedrunners actually count their steps so that they know exactly what combats they're going to get in every single room all the way until the end of the game. I am not kidding. They're counting they're keeping track of their steps just to make sure that they know what all the battles are so they can get done with the game faster. No, not even kidding. Hey, S&B, welcome, and thanks for the lurk. So that's the craziness of this. We are going to mess with that. If a speedrunner is playing and they get thrown into peaceful or danger mode, everything's just going to go nuts. But that is absolutely true. As a quick death in Texas mentioned, some do it better than others. The real problem that a speedrunner will run into is if they lose their step count partway through, they're in trouble. It's going off the rails because most of the time, like when speedrunners play games like this, they're severely underleveled. So they get to places and they are not actually the right level to play it. They don't have the right equipment. They're sort of just faking it and using any given like mechanics of the game they can to succeed a little bit better. Hey, Coach Todd. Hey, Quick Death in Texas. Welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and start wiring these up a little bit. So I want to make it so that chat spends the whole time during the current mood deciding what the next mood will be, and they'll do this through voting. My thought is, and hear me out, every single person in chat can get a vote on what they think the next mood should be. That being said, because this is for Twitch streamers, and there are a lot of Twitch streamers who literally their livelihood is, you know, from getting subs and bits and things like that on and donations on Twitch. That is how they make all of their money. They literally use entertainment on Twitch as their means of, you know, I guess enabling their existence. You know, like they survive with the money they make on Twitch. So to that end, we are going to obviously make it so that people that cheer bits towards those streamers get additional voting power in what the next mood will be. So if you really wanted it to be in, you know, danger mode, or what did S&B suggest in our chat today? By the way, I didn't mention it, but we do have a Discord channel that you should check out down below. Grumpy mood. That's what he called it. Grumpy mood. Yeah, we could do swoop mode. So in grumpy mode or danger mode or any other mode like that, the idea is that if you want it to be that, you throw some extra bits, you put some weight behind it, and you get additional votes, essentially, to try and influence what the next mood will be. Okay, let's have a look at how we can make this work. So I set up some basic classes. They don't do much just yet. We have the abstract class, we've got normal, we've got peaceful, and we have danger. And right now, none of these do anything. I'm going to turn off Interactive 7, by the way, so you are about to lose control of that color palette. Sorry, everyone. I'm going to put it back to default before we do, though. Okay. So a couple of things need to happen in order for a mood to work. Number one, we need to have that every 10 minutes decide on what the mood is. So let's see if we can get something like that going. We've got a couple of things that we could do. We can either get a background service that is scheduled to happen every 10 minutes, that we check the current state of the voting and it resets. So let's plan this out. I'm just going to type it up here for now. So this will be our to-do list. Every 10 minutes, well, actually, every minute, run the mood checker, we'll say. And the mood checker is going to do something like this. It's going to say, if time remaining Then we're going to show message and alert chat about remaining time. We'll say if time complete, then it will change the current mood to new mood. To, we'll say, top voted mood. And in addition, it will reset all mood voting. Which actually, maybe it should do that first, so that people don't waste votes on the previous one. Okay, so we'll do it that way, I think. Coach Todd, hey! Thank you very much for the Tier 1 sub. Glad you're enjoying the stream. So I think that's the set of features that we're going to go, that's the way that feature is going to work, which this, yes, you now have an egg. Welcome. And of course the DevChatter emotes. I'm a big fan of our emotes. I think they are fantastic. I love the little grabber that the Chatosaurus has there. Okay, so every minute we're going to run the mood checker. So this is going to require that we have a mood checker, and this is kind of like our, periodic event that needs to run to check things with chat. Okay, what's the next thing that we need? We need to have... So, in order to enforce a mood, many of these moods, I think, may need to be constantly applying their effects, but I'm not sure about this. So, to explain, the couple of things that I want to... Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Q. The things that affect whether or not there's going to be a random battle occurring are, as I mentioned earlier, a step counter. So the game is tracking the steps that the character takes, and let me show you what I mean. So if you actually watch in this game, you can see that little figure. He's kind of small there, but you can see his feet sort of moving. Each one of those steps gets counted by the game. Now, I could be running, and those steps count as well. And so because of that, the game is actually tracking all of those. So if you watch a speedrunner, sometimes they will count, they walk for a little bit, count the steps they take while they're walking, and then start running again. Now, this is because the game is tracking steps. And because it does these kinds of things, we need to be potentially interfering. Because if we're saying, wait a minute, in danger mode, we are going to automatically make some kinds of adjustments. So I'm thinking in danger mode, either... exactly, as Coach Todd mentions, usually the way that it's described is if I were to describe it, think of there are certain values, and usually it's described like a chart. So if you're trying to, actually I should go this way, if you're trying to get past a certain point, well, kind of need to draw it actually. let's draw to explain this concept. I'm actually just going to pull MS Paint because I think that's going to be easier to explain with. So if we think of it this way, so I've heard it described this way before. So if the game has potential encounters that are going to happen, and they're going to happen at these points. Now, if you're just walking, let me pull this down a little further so we can explain better. So if these are 2 points where encounters could occur, and that's at those values, we're going to make steps in green. So if I'm walking along, and this is like my walking pace, I'm going to hit this point after so many steps or something like that, right? But then if I'm running, Whoops, meant to do that, and then click off of it, and then click this. So running might have a steeper slope, and I might hit this battle instead. But if the streamer were to do something interesting, whoops, leave it red, click off of it, and they were to run a little bit, get up to here, say, and then switch to walking, slipping under here, getting just under that combat, and then, whoops, click off of that. Now, I might have this backwards with the way that it goes, don't mind if I do, but then they run, and then it's because they were running, this is where they leave the screen, right? They have potentially dodged running into any encounters because they were able to, and I'll draw the line here, go up here, and then slip under here, and make their way up there. So this was effectively the line they created instead of either the running and hitting that encounter or the walking and hitting that encounter. So they're able to effectively like dodge these encounters that would otherwise happen by manipulating the steps that they take. Now what we want to do is one of two things. If they're in danger mode, for example, we might decide that we're going to do this. And just before they start going, we might just say, hey, you know what? We're just going to make all of these danger values much closer to you, so they effectively become impossible to dodge. That, or we increase the step numbers, or potentially start the streamer up a little higher. So if we put the baseline where they start a little higher up, they're more likely to hit more combats. So that sort of is like our ways of saying, hey, you're going to hit more combats and have less control of the ones that you get. Hi, Mr. Shoji. Welcome. So that's kind of the idea that we would go for with that. Now, if we went with peaceful mode, we could do something else. And, for example, reduce the size of these danger values so that they were only coming down to like here, and it becomes much easier to dodge those combats. So that's kind of the explanation of how that works. So Coach Todd's asking an interesting question of, are we going to change the enemies that are going to be in there? And the answer to that is, I don't know yet. I want to think about the consequences of changing what the encounters will have in them, because we might. Some other factors in that we could do for danger mode, for example, is we could make it so that while you're in danger mode, the enemies all start out with haste turned on, and your characters all start the combat with slow, or something along those lines, where someone could then be like, well, in danger mode, it's safer to use like the curse ring or something, like I'm sure someone can come up with some way of taking advantage of these kinds of things. But yes, those kinds of concepts can absolutely be there, where you're saying, hey, why don't we just start these enemies off a little bit more powerful? Alternately, we might be able to do stuff like just doubling the hit points of all enemies while you're in danger mode, or other silliness like that. Because just doubling the hit points of enemies actually goes a long way to making them much harder to kill. So there's also I'm not creating this mode yet, but I want it to exist at some point, and anyone that knows the game will understand exactly why this is an evil thing to do. Yeah, exactly. So if you're running a mod and we do that to you, that's part of the reason why the question of, are you going to affect the enemies in the combat, is such a significant one, is that I don't want to cause a terrible problem if someone is running a mod. Okay. Let's explain the issues that can come up. So this is a battle that we are in right now, and something that is here that gives a streamer ridiculous power is the fact that they can go into items and they can throw things like a deadly waste on the enemy, right? So you may have taken away all their weapons, but they can still use some of their items to do some things that you don't want them to do. They could come down here and do I have anything useful? I have a ghost hand, I guess. I could, well, I don't, that's funny, I don't have any grenades in this, do I? No, I don't have any grenades right now. Someone should have given me a grenade. Find item, grenade. Is it just find grenade? Oh, is it not turned on? Oh, no. I7's turned off. Anyway, the idea being that they can still use items, which is one of those things of like, wait, we're still letting them use items? Why are we letting them use items? And yeah, so I want to turn off the item menu in some game modes where they can't use items. Or, for example, disable their equipment menu so they can't change their equipment. So those are the kinds of things that we want to do. And yes, as Coach Todd mentions, a lot of speedrunners, and this is not exclusive to Final Fantasy VII, this is actually in many different speedruns, there are items that you can buy that just do damage to enemies. For example, grenades in Final Fantasy VII just do damage to enemies, and it does enough damage that you don't actually have to be the right level with your characters to successfully win a lot of combats. So for their, it's one of the reasons why even if chat uses their control to remove all your good weapons, you are still in a lot of trouble. If we disable items. If you don't, then chat has to remove all your items and your equipment, at which point they basically just killed you. So I like the idea of finding a nice balance of chat can really mess with you without, you're just dead. Okay, so we'll call this Mood Enforcer for now. How long does a combat intro scene take? Yeah, it's also possible, Mr. Q. We will have to look into that, but yes, it should be possible to do. And yes, as Mr. Shoji mentions, there are some items that are really good for a long time. Okay, so how often? Every second, run the Mood Enforcer. What is it going to do? Call the apply effects of the mood. Is that all we're going to do? Call the apply effects of the mood, and it'll be up to the mood itself to determine whether its effects are needed, apply right now, and things like that. I think that's the way we want to do it. 2 to 3 seconds. So if we run it every second, then that should be enough. It might be worth seeing how Battle Square does it. Mr. Shoji, yes, you are absolutely correct. If I could figure out how Battle Square sealed away abilities, then we could absolutely leverage that. Again, for people that don't play Final Fantasy VII, there is a part of the game where you can do a tournament-style battle where it is where you start a combat that is going to progress into another combat as you go, and it spins a little wheel and chooses something to be sealed away sometimes. So occasionally it says your command materia doesn't work, your magic materia doesn't work, and those sorts of effects. And if we could leverage the same functionality that uses in a regular combat, we could use that to say, right now magic doesn't work, right now command doesn't work. So effectively having just different things sealed off from the player. have a feeling that it works by altering your setup and reevaluating what's available. Entirely possible, Mr. Shoji. I assume they did something along those lines of how the combat gets initialized, rather than affecting it while it's in play. So, but I don't know exactly what they did for that. But something to dig into. Okay, so I made a folder for this. I called it Moods. And I think we're going to put all the stuff related to moods inside this folder, because that makes sense to me. And we may, if we end up with our a mood needing more than one class to make it work, then I will make a folder for each mood that we have and put all related classes in those with them, so that we have some good, I guess, organization of the code into a related place. But for now, since I've only got the moods and a checker and an enforcer, which are the things that we're going to call them for now, until I come back with a better name, at which point we'll change them. Class mood checker. So mood checker, mood enforcer. Okay. Let's see. I have a feeling that it works. The level down ones change what character level you are directly and reevaluates the stats from that. Really? That's funny. Every minute run the mood checker. Does it, like, set you back to the correct level afterwards or something? Does it, like, save what level you are? Thanks, Coach Todd. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's figure this out then. So, I think I'm gonna do the mood checker later, because right now we could just pick a mood and run that mood and just see what happens. So we could just, from our end, just choose which one's running and enforce that same mood over and over. So we'll build this one first because it can run without the other one. So every second we're going to run the mood enforcer. Okay. So this is going to be a class that is going to have a base mood that we're going to call current mood. And this is going to get set from somewhere. Haven't totally decided yet. It could get set directly. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a private setter. And we're going to make a public method that says public void change mood. And it's going to take in the new mood that we're going to change to. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way is I don't want us to interrupt while it is currently doing something. I don't want to have anything happen where, like, one mood is applying its effect and we're changing the mood out from under it so something changes. I want to make sure that we have completely altered the mood by one thing and then alter for the next. So we don't end up with, like, while mood A is applying its effect, mood B starts applying its effect as well because it's been set as the new mood and called. I don't want them to, like, somehow interfere. So I'm going to set it so that when you call this one, it will, wait until that one's done and then actually swap it. So we'll just save this as next mood. Now I will trust that this isn't going to get called multiple times. So we're going to set that value to null. And then we're just going to say next mood equals mood. Okay. We're going to have some kind of a start on this thing. Some kind of a stop. We'll figure those out later. These will throw not implemented exceptions until we implement them.
What's the
So we'll have a private void like do the work method for now that we won't worry about. So when you run start, that will start this one running repeatedly. This one is the loop. Start is not the loop. Do the work is the loop. Okay. What is going on in chat? I believe because it doesn't do a standard battle end screen, it doesn't persist. Oh, yeah, Mr. Shoji, you could be correct. Because if it was just changing, you're right, because there is the, like, in-combat, like, battle versions of the characters, so that could be what it's affecting. Yeah, exactly. I do want to call them separately just in case. It will definitely get called multiple times, but just using the most recent one is a valid choice. Yeah, so we'll say if next mood is not null, then equals next mood, and next mood equals null. Now, we could put some locks in here just to be safe. I don't think we're going to be doing the changing mood often enough for that to really be a problem, but we can do it just to be safe later. I'm not going to write it yet. Current mood, apply effect, I think is all we're going to do. How do we want to run this? Do we want to run this with a timer or something like that? That's a good... we're going to ask the interwebs. C#8 timers. Yeah, is there a replacement for these, or do they still recommend that we use this? Is there anything new? We could go and grab a library that just does this, but I think we'll probably be good with a timer. Chat's probably saying, "What? Don't use a timer? That's crazy!" Which, they're not wrong. Do the work. Oh, yeah, if I'm going to do that, it would need to be static. Because I'm creating it here. Set it equal to null. New timer with do the work as the callback. Object state. What's chat saying? Interwebs. Clearly you want main thread.sleep. Yes, Mr. Shoji, that's what I want. There's threading.timer and dispatcher timer. Never know which one to use. Yeah. Hey, Crimson Green, welcome. Why is this? Yeah, we're not in nullable reference types. It wants to pass in the current state. Well, which one is the dispatcher timer? That's really familiar. Is that familiar? Timestamp values to measure the time intervals an object containing. Okay, null. Timestamp value to measure time intervals. Hey, Katrina, welcome. Oh, yeah, you're right, Icy Black Deep. And we're not actually in, like, we're a WPF app, but since this class library is just in core, we don't have it. That's why it was familiar. Yes. And Arch Inquisitor, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Specify 0 to start it immediately. We'll say time span 0, and then the period is going to be the interval between callbacks. So we said this was going to be every second. Time span from seconds 1. Okay, so every second we'll call do the work. Why does it need to pass in the objects? Why does it need to pass in the state? I really don't get that. Almost want to see, like, can I just... And do I even need that? Can I get away with that? No. Guy can try. Alright. So do the work is going to do whatever I said here. So we're going to apply the current effect, call this, and then do that. And then we want to stop. I think there should be an overload that doesn't take any arguments. Why would I need an overload that doesn't take any arguments? That timer callback seemed to want it to be one. Oh, you're thinking because, and that's why it wanted to specify that was nullable? Will it accept this then? Because then it's effectively the same thing. Yeah, it would. Well, let's try running it and find out what it happens. Let's just see what happens. So when you call stop, we'll go ahead and say timer dot dispose, maybe? Kind of makes me want to make this disposable, because timers are disposable, aren't they? That's way better than what I was writing. So we'll say this this dot dispose. No, we'll just dispose the timer, because if we end up with anything else that we want to dispose, we don't necessarily want to dispose it there. So maybe that calls this one? There we go. We'll do that. We'll have dispose call that. So if we do anything else that's required for disposal, we'll do it in there. But stopping the timer will do that. And then that'll be changing the mood. So someone calls this they start it. Apogee, welcome. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Oh yeah, you that could absolutely be what it was. Okay, so we've got that. What do we want to have come in the constructor for this? I want access to a couple of things. And I'm going to have a look at our commands just to get the names right. Twitch client. We're going to go ahead and make a read-only field called Twitch client. I think, for now. And the reason why we're going to do that is I am going to change this from 1 second to 20 seconds. If there's a current mood, apply the effect of that mood. There's the plan. If there's a current mood, apply the effect of the mood, because we started out null. Okay, so we don't need a Twitch client yet, because we're just applying the effect there. So we're going to say if there's a current mood, apply the current effect. Apply the effect, the current mood to that, and then that is assigning that value to that. Okay, we don't have a current mood, so that's fine. Okay, that I like. Okay. Let's go to the startup of this application, which is in the app XAML CS. So this is where we do all of our initialization of everything. For the app, load the current theme. So we actually start up the web service. I forgot those were in there. That got added by Mr. Shoji. So on startup, can I see configuration at this point? If we have access to the... No, nothing. It was just the Seventh Heaven stuff is what I was noticing. That right there, Mr. Shoji. Hey, Pudding, welcome. Do I have easy... so get service... Oh, yes. Host services, get service, that. So I could grab the configuration that way if I needed to. So I do have access to configuration if I want it. Hey, Pudding, doing pretty well. How are you? Okay, so... this gets started up in the background of that. This has its own timer, so we spin up the Seng monitor as its own piece that's running in the background like that. So it sounds to me like we want to do the same kind of thing. we'll say starting the mood enforcer. So the mood enforcer 20 seconds. Call start. It'll run every 5 seconds. Make it run every 5 seconds. And we'll discuss why in a moment. Starting mood enforcer. Mood enforcer. So we need to create one. Get service mood enforcer. Store that in a thing that we're going to call mood enforcer. Okay. Okay, so that says go ahead and get me one of those. And we want to say this. Let's say mood enforcer error. Error in mood enforcer. Passing in the exception. So run in background past that. Hey, Fuel Snable. Ah, you just woke up. Pudding, I don't know where in the world you live or what time it is, so that's either impressive or impressive. Starting the mood. Where in the world would it be a normal time to be waking up right now? I couldn't come up with one. Maybe you live in Hawaii? I guess if you... it's almost 2 p.m. Okay. There you go, Pudding. I work with some people that live in Peru. And yes, that sounds about right for the time. But waking up at about 2 p.m. is impressive. That's what I was like. It's like, well, if you're anywhere in the Americas, then, like, it's the middle of the day. If you're in Europe or Asia, it's some really weird time. Like, about the only people that this would be a normal wake-up time would be someone living in the Pacific. Would be my guess. I woke up from a nap. Does that count for anything? Yes, Icy Black Deep. That counts for a lot. Thanks for joining us. You live near Peru? Oh, yes. Apogee, please confirm for me that by IL you meant Illinois. Because if so, that's funny. Okay, good. You meant time zone wise. Yeah. I'm only an hour ahead of you. It's almost 3 my time. It's never a wasted day if you spent it sleeping. Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that. Alright, start the mood enforcer, starting the thing background monitoring. Yeah, that's fine. We'll put that in there. So mood enforcer start. So this calls that. So that starts it running, even though there's nothing to run, which is fine. Let's take a look back at our planning. Every minute we'll check the current mood. Does the mood checker live inside the enforcer? Is it separate? I don't think it is. I think they're the same thing. So there's only one process there's only one thing that gets started up. And that thing that gets started up maybe has 2 timers. That's the run timer. Almost 9 p.m. here. 9 p.m., 6 hours ahead. You are somewhere in Central Europe. So, Sweden. Ah, yeah, I should have just read your whole message. Excellent. Glad to hear the DevChatter stream is primetime TV today. So that's going to be the run timer, and this one is the checker timer? Checker? Sure. Checker timer. If mood's enabled, then start up the checker timer. Ah, yeah, see, Fuel Snable, you've got a similar time zone. And, hey, Trank, welcome. If moods are enabled, start up the timer. All right, I need to have settings available. Which actually, now that I think about it, I could. It's a specific type of settings. So application settings. What kind of settings are we gonna have in here? Moods? Are we gonna have mood settings, top level settings? Yes, absolutely. Mood settings. Okay. Gonna copy one of these into here. Move mood settings into its own class, or move the mood settings class into its own file, words. And then it's not memory read interval. It's on this one. It is enabled. So whether it's enabled at all absolutely needs to be a thing. So this is a Boolean that we are observing on here that is underscore enabled. We will have it enabled false because that is, with any new feature that you create, always leave it off by default because people should have to turn it on, especially if you've got, we have some private beta users right now that do just run this program on their streams. So if you do want to actually check out someone that's actually running this code live on their stream, those exist. So you can actually go see how people are using it. I don't think we need the mood checker anymore. I think we're getting rid of it, so I'm just going to delete it for now. We're going to say settings dot... oh, you know what? Mood settings. and this is going to be mood settings. There we go. So we're going to say, so I was thinking since that when you call start, we should watch the property changed event. Mood settings enabled changed. Why don't I just say mood settings changed? So someone toggled the setting. Basically, someone's in the... So the streamer is currently in the UI, and they are checking and unchecking that box. We need to respond to that. So at the beginning, we only want to... So we're going to say, if it's enabled, then we're going to start up the timers. Izzy, I'm guessing. Welcome. Yeah, sorry, I've got the FF7 turned off because we're editing it right now. So you can't affect that one, but if you just say a color, so like, whoops, if I don't typo it, yellow, it'll change at least that stuff all around the stream. And then alternately, you could use hex values as well, so like, that'll change it to red. So, yeah, Jello! So you can do orange, you can put in whatever you want for those named colors or hex codes, and it'll change the colors around the stream there. To change this box, I have to have Interactive 7 running. Internet Bird, welcome! Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. There you go. That's a nice one. Thanks, Izzy. I do actually like that. Is really that actually looks pretty good on the stream. There are very few colors that don't look nice in limited quantities. For example, lime is a great color for these, but lime is a terrible color when you set the whole menu to that. Alright, so we want to do this. So we need a reverse of this. So a stop needs to... No, dispose needs to get rid of that. Not stop, though. Because when we stop, we still need to be listening for that to be on. Question mark dot dispose. Dark theme with hot pink is always a good combo. I agree. It actually looks really nice. This purple actually looks really nice in the stream as well. The one that Arch Inquisitor just tossed on there. The nice thing, Izzy, is that I'm actually going to run this so that people can see it. We do have some semblance of like styling and theme control in our app. We haven't given much power in that yet, but we do have a little bit. So if I pull this up, oh dang it, no ref. Mood Enforcer doesn't get created because I didn't register it in. So rather than doing scanning, we actually coded in our so we specify for those so that we have control of how they get registered. So rather than scanning for them, we actually do individually register each dependency for all the types that we use in here. There are a couple of reasons why we did that, but We could switch to some, smart scanning thing. So our app right here does have theming. You just click this little thingy, and you go in here and you say, hey, what color do you want to use in your accent? I think you said some kind of pink. That's not a great color, pink. We want like a hot pink kind of a thing, but it's not the worst. That's not bad. That's not terrible either. Welcome, Vishal. So we are building an application that interacts with a game called Final Fantasy VII, which is at this point, like 22-year-old PlayStation game that also has a PC version. We are affecting the PC version of the game. We've got some new people here. We'll show everybody what we're building. So right now we're building in a new feature into our program. This is our program here. And it does a handful of things. First off, it is actually controlling the colors of that menu as well. So not just the in-game, but if you look in-game, you'll see that we have menus that match those. Let me go ahead and connect the bot. So it just said in chat that we're here. So watch this menu next to me, which is clearly part of our stream overlay, and then watch the in-game menu. It may need to refresh, but we'll find out. Nope, it connected, so yay! So if you look, we can actually just change the color palette however we want to whatever settings we want. And you can do it individually, as the instructions say over here. So you could do like menu, I don't know, lime green, green, dark green. I think that's a valid color palette. There we go. So that's a very bright green menu that we just created there. And you'll see that it just puts it in there. So you could do things like menu black, purple. Oh, whoops. Yep, there you go. So you can absolutely just do, you can do solid colors, you can do a single color, you can do 4 colors. Yeah, it's a lot of that one color. People don't usually realize what solid color is going to look like until they do that, and it's like, oh, yeah. But you could take that color, and you could temper it a little bit by doing, like, menu, and then have that be the upper left, and then we could do, how would we temper that a little bit? So, you see, and then what would this be? Like, sure, that could work. Yeah, there you go. See, any kind of other change in there, and it actually looks much nicer. So like I was thinking like this, which is similar, but then like goes dark on the end. So like I liked this style. You could alternately do something like this. Or even one of these ones. So there are a lot of cool effects that you can do with these colors just by manipulating that, and you can see like, oh yeah, it's like, because now it's like this glowing line in the middle. It is four colors, so you're choosing the corner colors and it's blending them together like that. So, and the neat thing is that you can oh wow, I just noticed that this color actually works really well with that color. So the idea is that we're giving that kind of control, but we're not just giving control over colors. You also have the ability to rename all the characters and to change the statuses of the characters and everything like that. So we're building a feature right now that is essentially to enforce certain moods while the player is playing the game. So like things are either going to be more dangerous or less dangerous, or certain features will be enabled or disabled while they're playing. Okay, back to this. So let's think this through. It's going to start. We're going to make the connection. When we do that, we're going to be monitoring for any changes. if we dispose of this, we're going to remove this, but stopping it should not keep us from watching whether or not we need to start it again. So, what I'm thinking is that it's actually the constructor of this that is going to connect the property change viewing. And that start is not going to be called, that can be called publicly. We'll say, if that's enabled, and runtimer equals null and check timer equals null. So the thought being, only actually create them if both the feature is enabled and the runtimer is either, and the runtimer and the check timer are both null. So the idea being, only call this if these need to be initialized. Otherwise, don't actually create them. So what that then does is it lets us, inside the changed, just call start. Because if we call start and they changed it to be I was thinking we could call start and call stop, but we can't. So calling start is always safe because we're going to check the current settings. So no matter what they change it to, we'd set it to that. Alternately, if we debating that. We can definitely call start, and it's fine. But I'm now wondering, do we maybe just want this to just be the, like, set the current state, and it doesn't matter what, like, start and stop don't really mean anything? Okay, if e dot mood settings property changed. Properties changed on the mood settings. Then we want to do a property name equals name of mood settings enabled. So tell me what the value is now. I guess I could just look. At which point you can just call start, right? You can just safely call start because it doesn't start it unless it was there. Do I call stop? No. So I guess I'm just going to check it, which is silly because it's going to be a double check. Okay, so if it's enabled, we'll call start, and if it's disabled, we'll call stop. Sure, that's fine. If mood settings and enabled status was changed, then we will call that. That's fine. Okay. Right, because the value isn't in there? No. So we'll just check the value of it. So mood settings enabled that, start, stop, and then our do the work object just does that. We call apply effect on the current mood. So now we need to set the mood. So I'm going to make a command. We're going to make a command for moderators only. We're going to start there. So in the future, we're going to set this to have voting so that chat can vote on what they think the next mood should be. Generic username, welcome. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. every 2 minutes. Horkrine, long time no see, welcome! Yeah, see? Long time no see. That was a very specific username. Greetings, Horkrine, welcome. It has been a while. I've still been streaming, but only weekend streams. So, for those of you that are wondering, this is like stream number 240 for us here on DevChatter. We've done 240 streams here, and you might be going, wait a minute. If you're only streaming on Saturdays, because if you looked on my schedule, you'll see that I'm only streaming on Saturdays right now. You go like, well, man, you've been streaming for like 5 years. No, I haven't been streaming for 2 years. It's been a little over 2 years that we've been streaming here on DevChatter. The stream started up in early 2018, and I used to stream on average about 3 times a week on... So... Listen to this, 3 times a week, but my schedule was Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And you go, wait a minute, Brendan, that's 4 days. And I go, yeah, those are my 4 days, and I would usually miss 1 day a week, just because I'm an independent software developer, so and mentor and trainer and things like that. So my schedule has like some quirks in it from time to time where I would end up with work that I would have to do, and so couldn't do the stream at the usual time. So I would usually just cancel the stream, and so I would average about 3 streams a week. Sometimes I would get all 4 in, and sometimes I would only get 2. But it was a good indicator of when we would be live, and I would usually let people know. That being said, if you do want to make sure that you get notified when we go live to catch these streams in the future, follow button on Twitch is the best way to do that. Find a username matching the same creativity you have for creating test data for unit tests. Oh, that's a very good way of doing things, generic username. It also could be the creativity in naming things, because we are all bad at naming things. All developers are. It's just kind of a thing. Do your best, though. And feel free to change them as you come up with better names. So we're going to have a timer that runs every 2 minutes, but I also want to make sure that every 10 minutes we change the... We change what the current mood is. Maybe instead of doing that, so we'll just check every 2 minutes, and instead of alerting people to the fact that it's time, it would just change it. So the checker timer instead is we'll just make it check. There you go. The method is check. Right now, check does nothing. I don't need to have that there. Process factory manager process. Exactly, Horkrine. Fantastic. You want to make sure when you eventually fall asleep and wake up, you can look at your code and know what each thing does. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Yes! Izzy is correct. Everyone listen to Izzy. And I say that not even joking. That the reason, the thing that Izzy is so right about, and this is what many of us miss, naming things is important for 2 big reasons. Number 1, you need to know what it does in the future. You, not someone else. And then the second reason it's important, someone else needs to know what it is that it was supposed to be doing. So everybody's like, but I'm the only one that maintains this code, so it doesn't matter for your side project or whatever. And to which I would cite, yes, except it's future you, not current you. You might know what it does right now. Future you has no idea what this does. Future you is an idiot and doesn't know what it is. And the reason for that is that current you is also an idiot. And by you, I mean me and all of us. You have to help yourself. Help future you figure out what you were doing. Entity manager, factory cache manager. Ooh, that's good. Manages the managers. You always write your code in such a way that you never need documentation. So you do want to strive for that. Documentation's still useful, and you still want to have documentation, but you want to write your code such that you need as little documentation to explain it as possible. If you have tests, you can deduce what the code was supposed to do. Yes, so a generic name is correct. Tests can often show you how a thing was actually intended to work when written, even if it doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to do. At least you know what the developer was going for. Okay. So let's go ahead and give this a try. So that's confusing, that's seconds and minutes. I'm going to put space between them so that hopefully we read these. You know what? From seconds, 120. Just so that it's a little clearer, even though that's still not all that clear. Okay. Check. Check current vote balance and set next mood. Okay, so that's what it's supposed to do. It doesn't do that yet, obviously. We didn't write the code. Okay, so I wanted to write that command that is going to help us out. So, whoops, not that one. Not there. It's in here. Commands. We are going to make a mod-only command that is called... What's this command called? Should expect result when conditioned for tests. Yes, Horkrine, that is a fantastic naming convention style for doing like an X unit or N unit style testing that you're going to run into in a lot of C#, because that does help someone read it. I actually usually put the should inside the class name just because everything has a should at the beginning of it, so I avoid that one. But I do like, this, like should, what it should do when, the setup. You do too many console logs in the process. Oh yeah, so you can console log. We use a Sarah log to write out to log files here. But yes, you can do things like you can do like the diagnostics debug. So you can do like debug prints and things like that as well. At which point you can attach a debugger and look at what was going on also. Yes, Horkrine, exactly. If you use Serolog or some other logging service, that can help out a lot. Because you can also, within that, configure whether or not it should be logging to the console as well. Yep, because in production you want it logging to a file or some kind of repository of logging information. Even if that's just like Splunk or something. We're going to go with change mood command. It is a base command. For starters, we can get away with a collection of strings rather than using a selector for this. And we're going to say true. Actually, I think it's like X true like that, I think is what I have to do. And then for this one, we're just going to hard code in change mood for now. Although, you know what? Hang on. We're actually going to put it in here. This is going to be change mood command words. And this will be x dot mood settings enabled. So if mood settings are enabled, then this is enabled. Okay. The only library you seem to care about apparently is TwitchLib. Yeah, TwitchLib is a good library to have. Lucky is working on some big changes to that, which I'm looking forward to. Let's see. You had a challenge where you must log out the most inefficient and annoying way possible for an interview. Made it send an email for every single log debug. The interviewer was impressed and simultaneously infuriated. Good job, Horkrine. Yeah. So the funny thing about that is, that seems ridiculous, but I can actually tell you from experience that there are some applications that need to massively alert if there is something wrong. I kid you not, one of the programs that I wrote, wow, long time ago, like 15 years ago, literally caused flashing lights and warning sirens to go off in an IT department's office if certain conditions happened. I am not kidding. We had we had lights set up. No, it was because someone needed to literally go running out of that office immediately. And it's like, and you laugh about it, but it's like, no, this, like, it meant there is a catastrophic emergency that someone needs to run out of this room and fix, like, right now. Like, we need human intervention physically in a place. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So that's the point. Is like, there are some scenarios where it is absolutely 100% critical that a human be alerted, even if they're not in the room. So the reason for flashing lights and sirens is, if you are not physically in that office and you are near that office, you hear it going off. So if you're like, crap, there's no one in there, like, the people in the neighboring office knew to get their butts in gear and, you know, run and find the person to... It's like, nope, this needs to be resolved immediately. Yep, there's stuff like that. It exists. They're rare circumstances that you know, get that kind of response, but you can find them. Just go work at the right company and they'll have that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is change. So we're gonna change Yuffie to change mood inside the selection. So we'll do that. There we go. Go up here. Oh, that is funny. I need to look into that. Because I don't think that's actually right. So that'll be the change mood command words. So I just might put it right after GP. So we'll do that, and this will be underscore change mood words, and it'll be change mood change. So you don't have to remember which way it is, they both work. That get fixed. Change mood, change mood, change mood. Change mood settings enabled. There we go. Okay. Yes, exactly. An intern that doesn't know about those kinds of alerts might be shocked. One system you worked on had something similar, hydro testing related. Yeah, so there are certain places where, like, not literally programmed, like, I can imagine that there are plenty of places with any kind of security problems where, like, no, your alerts when something's wrong sometimes need to be spinning up sirens, you know, shooting out emails to everybody involved. So the funny thing is, it's like, not only does it trigger sirens, but it also sends out emails to all of the people that need to know that, like, these things are happening. So it's like literally alerting humans anywhere in the world, like, by text message, by email. It's like, hey, pay attention, thing going on. Yes, exactly, Horkrine. That is the idea. Yep. Sometimes you need to alert others to problems. Don't you send notifications to smartphones for that these days? Pudding, yes. So you can send text message, you can send alert notifications if someone actually has that set up on their phone. But there really is something to be said for having a physical space that gets an alert as well. Hey, Rexy, welcome. If important alert equals true, launch nuke, yeah. Thanks, Izzy. Yes. Programs that automatically launch nukes, that seems like a bad idea. Okay, I said mod only, so if command data user is the broadcaster or is DevChatter, make an exception for me. Is me, or is mod okay, so let's extract this as a method that we're gonna call can run this command. So if it's one of those users that can run this command, which I guess will negate that. It's temporary anyway, so don't worry about the fact that it's negated logic. Well, actually, this may not be temporary. I'm not sure. We'll decide that later. So this needs to accept a mood enforcer as a parameter. So that'll be our mood enforcer, and we're going to say that dot change mood is going to be null. Now, what is null? Null is going to be the mood. Now, we need to select a mood based on the name. I could get a list of all moods. List of moods, call this moods. Don't mind that. Okay, so that's the moods, which we will store in a read-only field called moods, and we will say the selected mood is the mood single or default, where the mood name command data arguments let's say name arg. If name arg, we'll say string dot is null or white space name arg. We'll return, but before we return, we are going to send something back to our Twitch client. So Twitch client. So that's our next dependency right there, is a Twitch client. And we're going to say that dot send message to the command data dot channel. And we're going to say, what do we want to say? Please specify mood name. Okay, so if we get past that point, that means that we want a name where the name equals the name. We'll set it to that, and then we'll say if mood equals null, then again, we didn't find it, and we'll return. So we'll say mood namearg not found. Do it starts with? I think I like starts with on that for the mood. That way, if you didn't get, you don't have to type the whole thing. So in that case, this would be our moods. We'll say moods where that to list. We'll say moods.count. Well, 0 will get that. So mood that not found. If it's greater than 1, ambiguous error found that many moods. I'll put them in here, I guess. Will be nice. So moods. We'll say moods dot actually, we're gonna say string dot join with a separator, and we'll say moods dot select name. Okay, so it'll spit out the moods, and then this will be moods dot single. So if it was 0 or greater than 1, we've spit out an error message, which means at this point we know there's only 1, so we don't even need to or default that. We can just single that, and it's absolutely only 1 at that point. And then we've got some other problem. So we'll tell it to change moods to that mood. Let's go into our moods and make them do something. Before I do that, let's slow down how frequently they run. Let's do that. We'll make it every 10 seconds. What do we want this mood to do every 10 seconds? What's normal mood gonna do? And actually, let's register these. So inside the registrar, let's register the moods. So we're going to say services.add, and I do want them to be singletoned on here. And we're going to base mood, normal mood. So normal mood will be a base mood, danger mood, peaceful mood, danger, normal, and peaceful. So those are the only ones we created right now. And they'll all be registered as normal moods. Or as base moods, I mean. So now if I go to one of these, so normal mood, this isn't what we wanted to do in the long run, but let's do a, just so we can see it running, we'll give each one a chat client, and we'll just have them say who they are. For now. This is not what they're going to do in the long run. This is just what we're going to do for now. Oh, this doesn't have access to it. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, that's right. Twitch settings, instance, channel. And then the message. What's the message going to be? This is that. And we'll say name. Okay. There we go. Initialize from the constructor and initialize from the constructor. Build this. Alright, so this is going to be annoying in chat. Hence why I moved the settings to every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds it should say which one it is. We'll see if I got everything wired up. I might have missed something. But let's go ahead and give this a try. See what it does. This is every 10 seconds. Okay, so we have to remember that it's going to run one time the wrong way and then swap in the new one. So we're going to have to account for that in our checking. Because we did that as a safety, but we want to make sure that things are working. So let's go ahead and try the change mood command. Change mood. To normal mood. Did that run? Oh. Derp. I forgot to connect the bot. I was like, why isn't that working? Okay, now that legitimately didn't run the thing I was expecting it to run. But it does other stuff? Yep, other stuff's connected. Did it not get past can run this command? Alright, let's go to the command. Chatbot, that's what I want. Okay, so in here, looks for the commands on chat command received. Change mood comes in here. Command text is change mood, so we're looking through our set of commands. Is it in here? Looks like the answer to that is no, so I must have not registered the command? No, I didn't register the command. I didn't. That is, of course, why. Register Twitch command. It is change mood command. There we go. It's like, yeah, I registered. It's like, no, I didn't register that piece. There we go. That'll solve our problem. Let's go ahead and connect to the bot. This time at the beginning, we'll try the command again, and we'll see what happens. Come on. You need a swift kick in the... Let's go. Let's go. You can do this. Something going wrong. Debugging time, huh? Something with the way that this command is created. Mood. I wonder if it's this. Negative commands. What did I do with register Twitch commands? Singleton type of that. Line command T. Type of T. Add singleton I Twitch command. Because I registered as both itself and as that with a type of that. No, nothing there. So I'm certain this is because I asked for a collection. How did I ask for that collection inside the chatbot? What did I ask for? An iList. I wonder if it needs to be an iList. I wonder if that's the problem. An iList of these instead of a list. Whoops. You're right. I cannot implicitly convert that. It's possible that the dependency registration wants it to be a specific type. I'm pretty sure that's what's Yep. There it is. That was it. Okay, so the dependency registration is probably giving us an iList, so maybe it's an array or something like that, but it is not, in fact, a list, so that fixes it. Hey, leading lady, yes, I agree. That is a celebration-worthy moment there, because, oh boy, that was quite annoying. I was like, come on, this should work. All right, I'm going to remember to click connect this time, and let's go ahead and switch our menu colors just to make sure that things are working. Good, good, good. We're coming in there. That's going to run that command. Menu colors should have updated in the game. Yes, they did. Okay. Everything's connected. Everything changing all right? Good. Commands are working. All right. Let's try changing our mood and see if we start getting messages in chat. Please yell at me. You were supposed to yell at me. Change mood command. No, we didn't get to that. Oh, it's not enabled. It's not enabled. I set it to false to begin with. The can I ask what camera I'm using and how you're removing the background? Jonathan, yeah, I'd be glad to tell you that. I have just a Logitech webcam here that's in front of me. I've actually got it mounted on an arm, so like I can actually move it around and put it exactly where I want it. So I actually put it like in the way of so like that is monitor right there, so that when I'm looking at the screens, I'm not looking terribly far from it. So I've got that. And for removing the background, look up technology called Chroma Key. There's actually green behind me right now. My lighting's not good right now. I had some lights that broke that I need to replace. So, as I said, I've been streaming for a couple of years now. So, tech has broken over hundreds of streams, and I need to get around to replacing it. But I've been kind of lazy, which is why you're getting a shimmering effect over here, and that is actually the fact that there's supposed to be a light over here that's lighting up the screen that's not there right now. And so that's why I have that problem. And then even the light over here was messed up, but I kind of am faking it a little bit, so it's not shimmering over here, and it is kind of doing it over there. Which the other consequence is my makeshift get this lighting right is what's shining on my face and making it so you can occasionally see through me. Because that's not the light I'm supposed to be using. But hoping to fix all that soon, so we'll see how it goes. Change mood. Okay, we get in here, and what's it do? Excellent. It says, please specify the mood name. I need to look at that. I just realized that may not do anything yet. Oh! This is normal mood! Look! It did it! It did it! Wait, hang on. Wait. There it is again. Now we gotta wait. It's gonna complete a cycle. It should say this is normal mood. Okay, we should now be in danger mood. So the next message, so after this one, should be danger. There it is. Okay, excellent. So with the mod only command, we now have control over what the mood is. So the reason I had it right to chat is just so that we could see it, as that was a good way of just getting us the notification that was happening. But now we want to do it the right way. So let's go ahead and stop that, because we don't need those messages coming in anymore. Hang on a second. I check text messages on my phone while I'm on stream, because if someone is trying to get my attention to something I need to look at, then I want to. Because that could be like, something about my small human. Perpetual Fest, welcome. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. And if anyone's wondering, so I know I mentioned earlier in the stream, and by the way, there are links to all kinds of additional stuff down below the stream, like our Discord and other stuff like that. But one of the reasons why I am only streaming on Saturdays right now is my schedule got a little bit out of control lately, because I agreed to help out with a project that has got me working more hours than I would normally like to be working. So that's why I'm only doing the Saturday streams. And actually, the nice thing about the Saturday streams is that I schedule this for my kids' nap time. So that's why this stream is when it is. As small human can be put down to bed, and then it's one of those, I do not have to, like, put, tons of effort onto, essentially, it's the, I don't want mom to have to watch the kid while I stream kind of thing. So it's like, okay, so it'll be nap time, so he'll mostly be asleep for that. So it's one of those, like, yeah, that's the, like, no. It's a nice little trade-off. It is very appreciated. Everybody should say thank you to her for making sure that I can stream during this time. So okay, so start and stop that based on that, do the work. Okay, yeah, good. No, that's good, that's good, that's good. Let's go check out the moods. So... we still need to do the mood checker part of that. That was our to-do list that we sort of wrote at the beginning of the stream for like what we wanted to build to make this work. For the normal mood, right now we're taking in this Twitch chat client, but I don't think we want that. I don't actually think we want to have these do anything like this. That was just a... Just to confirm that it was working, so let's go ahead and remove that from each of these. So we don't want it. No, no, no. That'd be way too chatty. What do we want? So each one of these needs to have its own features, so it can pull in its own dependencies. That's why they're all separate classes, is so they can decide what it is they do and how they do it. If some of them are closely related, we might pull out... you know, some actual base class. And to be honest, this abstract base class, we could get rid of this and replace it with an interface at some point if we ever decide that there's too much inheritance there. But for now, it's a nice way of not having to, you know, define the name and ID properties in each one. So keeps a little cleaner for now, as long as I can get away with it. Okay, let's go ahead and figure out... So normal mood doesn't need to do anything. Normal mood, I think we're just not gonna make any changes at all, or maybe we set things back to normal. Maybe they should undo their own effects. Maybe they should undo their effects when they complete. We'll think about that in a bit. Let's have a look at the status effect command. What do I take in here? The status accessor? Yeah. We haven't made Grumpy yet, S&B. We're working on Danger for now. But yes, your suggestion is agreed with. It should probably, like, Grumpy's a great name for Danger, actually. Let's show an event that is going to be we'll say current mood.name is now active. It's now active. That mood is now active. That makes sense to me. Danger mood. So it's going to say danger mood is now active. Excellent. So inside of danger mood, what do we grab the status accessor, which actually I meant to grab enemy status, didn't I? Crap, did I do that in a, I might have done that in a branch that hasn't come in yet. Did I do that in a branch? Crap, I did. Enemy status is still a branch. I bet I didn't bring it in because it's still very buggy. Giving statuses to enemies is really dangerous, by the way. Alright, so in danger mode, Let's do something evil. Let's do something horrible. Do you always come in slow? Maybe you always come in slow. Thanks, SMB. Check target validity. So it needs to be during combat. So only during combat. The targets needs to be all, right? So we would say what happens if they're safe from it? Okay, so we're gonna say if is in battle, is battle, we'll say that'll be a local boolean that we'll set equal to true for now. If it is a battle, we're gonna give each and to do that, if it is battle, create that. There we go. If it is battle, then for each one of these, do this. Where do you get targets from? Targets, we're not actually going to do it this way, but I'm going to go look at the method. It's in pyramid, check target validity. Targets, it grabs from party status. Lime is a weird one. I don't mind. So lime, depending on the circumstance, isn't bad. If I make this a property, of that, this could be made static for now. Which, the intention isn't to make it static, the intention is to prove that I can yank it somewhere else that makes more sense. Status, effect, oh, I can't get it here. It's inside of Twitch. I'm not in Twitch. This does need to live somewhere else. This needs to move. See? I told you this needed to move. Change mood to wiggly. That's a good suggestion there, Pudding. I could maybe put it on the party status view model? actually not the worst idea. It's not static. Why don't I say get, yeah, sure, check target validity. Targets, instead of party status, it's this. Which we know isn't null at that point. And then that means we don't need the redundant this at all because it's there. And then this can go live there as well. So if the character is in a pyramid, or they're that. So that's basically saying get all their targets, and then this no longer lives in here at all. We instead say party status dot check target validity. It's interesting that we passed in that. We don't need to anymore. Check target validity. The second parameter was the party. Wait, targets, that's these. That's the character records. That's that. Oh, man, that's silly. That got way simpler. I am glad I moved this, because it made me reevaluate the method and I discovered a problem. Coach Todd, take care. Have a good one. Enjoy the cookout. So that'll get us those values. You know what? Now that we've got this, I kind of want to write it this way. So we'll say that's the return value of this. So only the valid targets. So for valid targets, we will apply the status effect that we're trying to apply. Targets where the party index is not. So where did we get those in the command? Where did we get targeted from? Allies by word. There we go. Found it. That's what we needed. So inside of our danger mood, that's where we're going. Danger mood. We're going to say that the targeted is all. Every time. So we need which status effect do we want to apply? Slow. We could leave them always, have them always start slow. All right, let's put in the party status view model. Party status view model. So we're going to say this, this dot check the validity, get us back. So we want for the valid targets, target, and this is going to be the effect that we apply. So essentially we're going to say if we're in battle, apply the slow status effect to everyone in the party that can be affected by it. When we run this, it has a blocking opposite. Remove the blocking opposite and then reapply it would be what we would do. If it just has the opposite, but it's not a blocking one, with opposites are just slow, but they're not blocking. So slow is just going to become slow. So it is just going to override it. So we remove it if it has the opposite, and then we apply it. Do we bother applying if the status is already correct? Do we bail if they already have it? Was that one of our validity checks? Maybe that was one of our validity checks. Hang on. Has the effect. Okay. So if they already have it, we won't attempt to reapply it. So if they're already slowed, we'll say, nope, they're slowed. We don't need to slow them again. But otherwise, we're going to force them into that. Okay. So, if that's the case, then let's take a look at the battle status effect commands, because somehow... so that's this. I thought we had something to check to see whether or not we were in combat. That's base. I didn't mean base. Oh, it's battle only commands. That's what I meant to look for. It's battle active. How do we determine that? Okay, I'm going to borrow this for now. We're going to borrow this and put that in the base one with the protected. Get battle map. No, we're not going to put that in the base. I was thinking about it, but I don't want not every mood is going to need that, so I don't want them all to have to pass it. So I guess it's going to live down here in this for now, and we'll figure out if it makes sense to put it somewhere else. So we'll create that field, and it is a battle info accessor, which we will initialize from the constructor. And yes, you can be read-only. Okay, so now we're going to say that. So, is battle active? So, if a battle is active, then we will apply slow to the party, the whole party. If there's ever a battle, we're just going to force them into that. Okay. Let's try it and see what happens. Can we make every counter that our characters fight just automatically be slow? This is going to be awful. Okay, let's confirm that Interactive 7 is live. There it is. So colors are changing. Okay, let's go get into combat. Let's set the mood. we need to make sure that we know that the moods are active. So let's do this. Localhost. So first off, many of you might not know that that's a thing. We do have a status overlay. There's this one as well. Just to confirm. There. So see, it says rainbow mode started up there. That is our events display that we put up there. So while rainbow mode is active, it'll trigger that. And so this is rainbow mode, by the way. It's the menu's constantly changing. But let's go ahead and change the mood. So in a moment, it should switch us over to danger mode. We're watching for the event. Okay, danger mood is now active. So if I get into a battle, I should be immediately slowed. Let's see what happens. And in fact, even if we haste these characters, they should still automatically get slowed. Let's see what happens. Like, are there any problems from it? Okay, so that applies, and then that's interesting. So I set those effects, and it definitely messed a couple of things up. They look slowed. They're regened, and they're going really slowly. Forget. This just takes me right back to here, which is not necessarily all that helpful now, is it? Because I'm just back on that. Let's do that. We're going to restart so we can get random battles. Yep, we'll go into the reactor. Okay, let's check out what happens. Gonna try and get a random battle here. Because we should still be in danger mode. Now I should say haste all. So, okay, so it's claiming that it applied haste to Cloud and Barrett and Tifa. Cloud is definitely not hasted if you look at the speed that that's going. So I think it applied slow to him. Yep. Barrett's slowed as well. So is Tifa. So they're all slowed. So it is not letting me out of that. Now, what's weird is that I don't know if that's the correct color for slow. Whoops, not hast all. Okay, let's try and haste the party again. Yeah, the ATB color seems wrong. So I'm wondering if it's not updating quite correctly. Yeah, I saw it apply it to Tifa. The color's not coming in correctly. Because it should be like purple, I think, if they're slowed. It's a good question. You know what? I'm not going to put an image search on screen. That's too dangerous. You're right. It's the limit bar that... limit bar changes color when you have sadness and fury on between purple and red. FF7 ATB slow. Oh, remake, how I hate you. I mean, I don't really hate the remake, but it's just annoying because... Because I have to tell a Google search to remove the remake results, because that's not the one I wanted. Purple for sadness and red for fury. Yeah, exactly. Does it change the ATB color when you're hasted, though? I see yellow, orange, and green on those. You know what? I'll switch it to normal mode. That'll be a way to tell. Normal mood is now active, which means I should now be able to haste everyone. So we'll defend. Everyone will just defend. Thanks, Shoji. Appreciate it. So it claims they're already hasted. That's not true. Which must mean we didn't remove it right. I should bring up the status. They're both hasted and slow, which means we didn't remove their haste when applying their slow. They have both haste and slow active. And I know why, too. It's because we're not locking on the status accessor. So I think we applied it at the same time, which we should not be able to do, except that I think we race conditioned ourselves on that. Because we didn't check for that. That's my guess. Once you have both, it won't try to apply the opposite. So it won't remove the opposite once you've got it there, because it's going to say you've already got it, so it's not going to remove the other one. So how do we get around that? I guess we could... Yeah, the slow seems to be taking the precedence. I would agree with that assessment. It seems like that is happening. I kind of want to remove haste at that point. At which point, valid targets. So go in here. So we're going to check the target validity for haste. foo. Deconstruct that, please, into valid, safe from, and has effect. Var valid, safe from, and has effect. I don't need those, and I don't need these. I need anyone that has haste. For each has haste, remove hasted haste. If they're hasted, remove it. Whomever is valid for a slow, so we're going to say valid set actor slow. Anybody that has haste gets it removed. Anybody that is allowed to be slowed gets slowed. That looks right to me. We still want to handle the race condition just so we don't get into that mess. But I think it'll work. We're watching for that danger mood active. There it is. Okay, says Cloud is hasted, but Barrett and Tifa, it says, are not. Why is it not removing his? Okay, battle is active. Hey, Sunamods, you made it. Welcome, buddy. Has haste 1. Okay. We are trying to remove haste. Oh, I wonder if something in the way we remove is causing a problem with this. So we're trying to remove haste from actor 0. Let that continue on. Alright. So I'm in here with this. Status effect haste. Versus that. They don't have the status? This is claiming he doesn't have it? This claims he does have it. He doesn't have it? Yeah, Suna, it has been a long time. Welcome to the stream. We are building our moods right now. So basically switching us into different like so the game starts off in normal mood, and the idea is we're going to try to make it so that chat votes on what they want the next mood to be. So like every 10 minutes you're in a certain mood. So like, you know, after chat votes for 10 minutes, you might go into danger mode or peaceful mode, and if chat doesn't vote at all, we're going to go back to normal mood, for example. So yes, it'll be a highway to the danger zone. The idea being that in danger mode, we'll do stuff that just makes the game harder for a little while. Yes, exactly, Suna. We want danger mode to trigger battles more frequently and also to cripple you during them. So right now I'm trying to see if we can make it so that you are forced into slow mode and you're just always trapped in it. Like, you cannot get out of slow, or some other status. So, for example, I'm thinking that if you're protected from statuses, we'll maybe do like a list. So, like, even if you've got a ribbon on, we're going to give you something. Even if it's like, you know, making the enemy more powerful or de-leveling you or something like that. Like, we'll find some way of making it more difficult. So we want chat to be able to just say, hey, things are going to be bad for you, Mr. Streamer. Welcome, Adam. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. I wonder. At the point that we're in right now, in the call stack, right here, we have get true status for the actor, which gets us back that. So if I call this method, right there, it gets us back 512. If I were to instead, what is our actor? Our actor's address is that value, which, funny enough, it's given us the context for, so maybe I try it. Because we have access, or at that point, we have access to all these things. So before I run that, let's run this, actually. And we'll call this the bytes, like that. And then we're going to put in this, the bytes. The bytes. What do you have now? The bytes? 0200. Is it gonna let me get away with this? When I convert it, it's 512. Hey, Janiscu. Oh, to answer your question, no, I didn't find the danger values or step counts or anything like that yet, Sunamods. They're somewhere. Why are they hasted then? I know someone knows it because I have seen it on some of the speedrunner like training software that they were using. I saw someone that was pulling up the step count value while they were walking around to help them route for Final Fantasy VII. So I know that that value is somewhere, but I don't know exactly what it is. He had Cheat Engine up and was like monitoring it, but I did not see exactly what the value was. Maybe it was like Mutsky or something. So if someone knows where the step counter value is even, I could mess with the step counter and just be like, we're going to start you 20 steps up or something like that, and just to make it so that you'll hit the battles a little bit sooner every time. That's so weird. It seems like it's saying that I have those statuses even though I don't know that I do. Yeah, it certainly seems to think that Cloud is hasted for some reason. Oh, oops, yeah, that won't load because this is still stuck here. Oh, it's gone. Hey! Okay, so it did remove it. Alright, good. So that means in the battle, he should be just straight slowed now, right? Oh yeah, everybody's slow. Look at that. Ouch. Okay, so it is working. Cool. That's a good way to die. Okay, so for peaceful mode, for the peaceful mood, we could do the exact opposite. Just flipping it and force your party into haste all the time, which again can still get you killed because haste sucks for some reason. A duel? Yeah, duel is also ridiculous. I'm not sure if we're going to add that as a status effect that chat can apply. We might. It's one of those ones that's super powerful, kind of like Peerless being, a little broken. Applying a Peerless to an enemy is just, you're gonna lose. It's a short answer on that one. Duel is safer than Petrify? Well, Petrify just ends the game, so Petrify they can turn on if they want, and it's just like, here's an automatic game over. I need to branch this. New branch. Movements. Bring my changes. Starting to build the moods in i7. So I like that as a good starting point for being in danger. And I'm debating doing the Wartnick. Hello, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. It's tempting to do the opposite. My concern with doing the opposite is that yeah, exactly, Shoji. So you could just flip it and just say we force you to be in haste all the time, but that's a bad thing if someone's doing like a death sentence on you, for example. And the problem with that is that death sentence price might not be too expensive because while it's devastating, you can often just try to finish the battle before that happens. I'm going to go with Ken. Welcome to the stream, Ken. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. Yep, take care, Wartnick. Glad you enjoyed the programming. And if anyone else wants to make sure you catch the next stream, be sure to hit the follow button. It's the best way to get notified. take care. So I worry that there'd be an unintended consequence of those two settings coming up at the same time, because Death Sentence probably isn't the most expensive status effect, and if someone triggers the peaceful mood... Barriers! Oh, I like that, Shoji. Permanent barriers. That's actually a good idea. It just puts up a new barrier. I like that. Okay, so this should make obvious that I need to compose these in some way that has this, because these two are getting the same sets of stuff. Bonk. Except on this one, I don't think that we have anything to remove, per se. Oh, I'm missing a curly. That's why it's complaining. I'm like, what's it complaining about? Missing a curly brace. There we go. What the heck is going on? There we go. I messed up curly somewhere and everything got confused. Thanks, Visual Studio. Alright, so instead of applying slow all the time, we're going to apply barrier and M barrier. The question is, do we apply them separately? Do we apply them together? Suna, probably from being a name among FF7 people? That is possible, Suna. So it could be just from followers and things like that. It also could be, I know that Swoog does mention to people that I'm streaming sometimes. If he's live right now, that could be where some of the FF7 people come from. Because he'll sometimes mention that I'm doing stuff. So if I am live, yeah. So there are some people that mention, I really like that idea of having the barriers in here. Okay, another thing for the for anyone that was noticing, the programmers, that I put an ID on here, and the reason why I did that is these moods, we might make it so their names are configurable. And so, like, a streamer might want to, say that, like, instead of saying, the danger mood is active, they, could name it something else. I'm also intending that however these work, so the fact that we're doing barriers, I think that that's going to become a setting at some point, and the streamer is going to decide what status effects get applied based on these. So, like, in peaceful mode, they might choose, like, hey, I want, barriers to be active, or I want it to haste me, or something like that. And they might choose for danger that danger has certain settings. And so I kind of want these to be chosen by them, and they might want to adjust the name for how it, states that it's live and things like that for which mode is active. And going down that path does mean that we need to make sure that we're not referencing them based on on a name, but instead by an ID. So since they are coded, we need to have IDs associated with them. So, sweet mother of mood. Yes. Yes. The moderate peril mood. Yes, that is sort of what it is anyway, because it's really not that dangerous. A real danger mood. If you really wanted danger, it would be like, you start off the combat with only being able with being berserked, slowed, frogged, small, and base equipment. It's like just sort of let it run on its own. Haste with a duel and death sentence. Yes. There you go, Shoji. That's just mean. Just make sure they die as fast as possible and all they can do is watch. Okay, maybe silence and no items. Yeah, exactly. Silenced and no and turn off the item commands is also pretty evil. That's moderate peril, especially to a speedrunner, because they're probably not leveled accordingly. Alright, so we're going to connect. So i7 is active. Change mood. Peace. Okay. So we should see when it activates, assuming it didn't activate already. To make sure the events are active. It is. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out. I'll just get in a battle. Let's find out if we've got barriers. Let's see what we get. We're running around in circles, and we're going to try to get a battle. Now you see why I want to be able to activate that step counter and the everything else, because I would love to be able to just force a battle to happen. We have barriers on some of these characters, but not all of them. Okay, so it's starting to put the barriers on them. There we go. Everybody's got a barrier now. Automatically putting up barriers at the beginning. Yep. And the funny thing is that barrier potentially just kept Tifa alive there, because her health is ridiculously low. So yeah, peaceful mode is nice. Putting up shields up right off the bat. Chat doesn't even have to do anything; it just puts them up. That's good. I like that. Yeah, that works out well. Danger. Peaceful. Adding the moods. Create. Okay, let's break them into their own files now. Make the code a little nicer. So that'll go into its own file. This one will go into its own file. Same with this one. So the thing we still need to do is voting on current mood. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to adjust how the events display works, so that I like the idea that the event shows a notification when a mood changes, but I kind of want a persistent message on here that says what the current mood is, because if there is an active mood, I feel like it should just be constantly, like, that everyone should just know which one is active at any given point, because it should. Okay, so, you all might even care to see this. Move moods to own files. There we go. We will publish that branch. Push. There we go. Excellent. All right. Play a short flash of color on your menu. Peaceful is green, danger is red, or something. You could, yeah. Like, instead of matching whatever the color of the game is, or just show it somewhere as well. All would be possible. Ways of getting that point across. Yes, exactly, like a warning that it has happened. Which is nice, because you could even pop that in on the stream, which would let the, on the game, so that the player, if they were on a menu or in a combat or something, could see that it had activated. And that would be a nice way of doing that. Alright, yes, exactly. I was thinking give it its own page about moods, but definitely, Shoji, it should pop up an event when the mood changes. Absolutely needs to let people know that it changed. Because if it doesn't do that, then they're not gonna, like, then no one knows that it happened in the chat, that things did shift. Yes, exactly. An event message popping up as normal, I think, would be a really good one to have there. Okay, so I know I let people know this before, but I have done, so I have actually gotten back to doing some midweek streams. So since I actually managed to do one of those, I am going to let people know that I'm hoping that I can keep doing that, doing the occasional one-off midweek stream. My schedule's been a little crazy, which is why I've been only doing the Saturday streams. But if I can get those back in, I am going to. That being said, the weekday streams will not be on a regular schedule. So they'll be around the middle of the day in the Eastern time zone. So roughly speaking, so if you look at your clock, I would assume that they would start 2 to 3 hours before now. So sometime in the middle of the week. So if that works for you to show up, that's when they would happen. As I said, though, they won't be scheduled in advance, so the best way to know that they're going to happen is either to join my Discord, which you can find a link for down below the stream in the panels, or to follow and get notifications. So if you click the follow button here on Twitch, and you make sure that the bell is filled in, you will get notifications when I go live, so you can show up to these streams. My streams are not always Final Fantasy VII related. Plenty of them are just general programming. As this first, yes, they could also check out on Twitter, Sunamods. There are links for that down below as well, both for my personal Twitter as well as the DevChatter Twitter. Which the DevChatter Twitter is less useful because it's mostly just notifications about going live here. And if you are interested in programming stuff, then following me on Twitter is also useful. I am a person that really likes, well, all kinds of programming, we'll say. Currently, I do a lot of C# and I do that mostly on stream. We do a decent amount of JavaScript on here as well. But that has been a while since JavaScript was a focus here on the stream, and we've done the occasional bit of Python as well. We will be doing some more streams with guests again. So we're definitely going to bring Guy Royce back on the stream, so expect to have him up in that corner up there chatting with me and pair programming. So I think we're still scheduled for the next one being a couple of weeks out, and I will probably be a guest over on his stream as well. We'll see how that goes. Forget if there's anything else I need to do. So, as I said, I will attempt to do weekday streams, so make sure you get notified when those go live, and that will be the best thing that you can do there for catching these. Other than that, once my schedule clears up, which I think it will in I don't know, a month or a month and a half or so, then I might shift my schedule back to having regular weekday streams. So assuming that I can make that happen, then expect to see me for those. All right. I want to roll our credits before we take off. Please don't go anywhere, as we are going to be rating another streamer, and it really helps out if you stick around. So I want to make sure that I thank Crimson Green and S&B and Mr. Shoji and Stoolpenner, all for helping to moderate the channel. I want to thank all of these wonderful people, all of these great people that clicked that follow button today to make sure that they got notified of our streams. And I want to make sure that I thank our subscribers, Nate, Todd, and Katrina, all for subscribing today. Much appreciated. I hope that I will see you all next time. I will see you next Saturday, if not someday during the week. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. Hopefully you enjoyed some of our programming, some of our antics, and some of the interesting stuff that we did with Final Fantasy VII today. We will, of course, be working on some other things next week, and I will see you then. For now, I'm going to toss up the intro screen and send us on a raid. So stick around, follow me along, and let's say hi when we get there. Take care, everyone. Happy coding. Enjoy your weekend.